to be of interest.
I would say one thing that a lot of kids see and it catches their eye and they ask what it is our 1870s kaleidoscope. It is quite a curiosity. And, you would look at that and think, what is that doing here? What is that? But, once you explain to them, what it is, and especially, if you let them take a look themselves, and see, what that looks like when you look into that kaleidoscope, they all love it. In fact, it's one of my favorite things in the museum, too. I would say that's probably what catches the kids' eyes the most. And this year, I'm seeing that a lot of adults, their eye is caught by Mr. Moore's rotating bookcases.
The museum is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sundays from 1 to 5 p.m. Get more information about all things C.H. Moore Homestead by finding the museum on Facebook or visiting chmoorehomestead.org. You can contact the museum as well by calling 217-935-6066. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. 26 minutes ahead of the hour on this Thursday morning. Cloudy skies, 52 degrees in Clinton here this morning.
Local information that makes a difference. Here's your regional weather.
Early clouds, then sun today, highs of 70, a west wind at 10 to 20 miles an hour, a chance of a shower tonight, otherwise increasing clouds, temperatures in the mid-50s, a 40% chance of early rain on Friday, otherwise cloudy and highs in the upper 70s. Friday night, partly cloudy and a low in the lower 60s. Sunny Saturday, a high of 80, breezy, south winds at 15 to 25 miles an hour, wind gusts on Saturday of 40 miles an hour, showers on Sunday, breezy still, a high of 70. Into next week, partly sunny on Monday and Tuesday, with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. Across central Illinois, as we roll through this Thursday, 51 in Bloomington and Normal, 51 in Hayworth, 52 in Leroy, 53 in Farmer City, 53 in Champaign and Monticello, 55 in Decatur, 53 in Mount Pulaski and Lincoln. It's 56 in Springfield and 50 in Peoria. 52, cloudy in Clinton, feels like 52 outside. West winds are calm, 99% humidity, 10 miles of visibility this morning. Weather anytime is at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Scott Baum here from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. Search our big selection of pre-owned cars and trucks by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Dr. Bradley Grant here from Midstate Eye in Clinton. Many people aren't aware that vision insurance benefits can be used towards purchasing prescription sunglasses. Find out more by clicking on Midstate Eye icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Airlines have just reduced their prices even more. Book 30 days in advance and save big.
Want the absolute lowest prices on your airline tickets? Then call the Low Cost Airlines Travel Hotline right now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. The only way to access our low rates and save up to 70% is to call. Save hundreds on your vacation tickets by calling right now. You can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
858-988-7667. 858-988-7667. 858-988-7667. That's 858-988-7667.
Let's swing open the farm gate together every day on WHOW. I'm Stu Ellis, your host of the long-running agriculture feature called The Farm Gate. I bring the latest news and information on where agriculture is and where it's going to WHOW Ag listeners several times a day. From tariffs to treaties, from the Board of Trade to the running board on your truck, I cover Central Illinois agriculture every day on The Farm Gate. Hear it all on WHOW's many platforms, on the radio or online. Join me, Stu Ellis, for The Farm Gate.
You're listening to The Morning Show on the Big 1520 across Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It is brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. On the phone with me in this segment of the morning show is State Senator Chapin Rose. Rose, good morning, sir. How are you?
What's up, brother? How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for taking time with us as always and chatting with us. And you know what, Chapin, I saw this in the news the other day, and I wish it would have gotten more attention than it did. But you had a great piece of legislation in the spring session here that wrapped up last week, and this was just phenomenal work by you. You know, normally I'm not on here giving kudos to lawmakers or anything like that. That's not my gig. But good job to you. Decatur to Champaign, Interstate 72 is going to be named after Chris Oberheim. Of course, it's been almost a year since his tragic passing in Champaign in an incident in Champaign. Tell us a little bit about this piece of legislation you put forward.
Well, yeah. So first of all, thank you for the compliments. But in this case, it's my great honor to try to accomplish this for the family. But Officer Oberheim, of course, was killed literally just about a year ago while on duty in Champaign, defending his neighbors and the citizens of Champaign from, in this case, true evil. He was a multiple convicted felon, multiple prior domestic batteries, and that morning he and his partner, who's my friend, Officer Creel, responded to yet another domestic battery, and my friend Officer Creel was shot, and then Officer Oberheim was subsequently shot after Officer Creel, and Officer Oberheim unfortunately succumbed to his wounds and died. And anytime you have a policeman, a fireman, paramedic, anybody out trying to serve their, even I had a young man the other day that 18-year-old kid that was out working a wreck on the side of the road and got hit by a truck and killed. Anytime you have someone out trying to help their fellow man who loses their life, it's just a tragedy. And in this case, it was absolutely preventable in the sense that this I was going to say human being, but this piece of trash that killed Oberheim and shot my friend Creel shouldn't even walk in the streets. He should have been behind bars, and he should have been behind bars for a long time because he'd been out on multiple felonies, multiple crimes, multiple domestic batteries, and yet here he was in Champaign that morning in the process of committing another domestic battery when he took Officer Oberheim's life. So the least that I can do to honor his life, to commemorate his life, and to say to the Oberheim family, his wife Amber and his 4 wonderful daughters, and his parents and his brother, who's a Decatur police officer, that the citizens of Illinois care, and that we paid attention to this and realized that it not only was a horrific tragedy and for their family, but frankly we all share their pain. This was a good man who went out to remove evil from the earth, and unfortunately gave his life in the process. So we passed in the waning hours of the session a resolution to name I-72 from Champaign, where he was a Champaign police officer, to Decatur, where he previously served as a police officer and had grown up in Decatur, and of course Monticello right in the middle, where he and his wife Amber and their 4 daughters lived. And he was a softball coach, and all the things that you do as a dad when you're not a police officer. And so
and I'm glad you brought that up, Chapin, especially on the Senate floor, bringing a human element to this. He had 4 daughters. He coached softball. He was active in church. Like your friend, the Officer Creel, was that his name?
Yep.
That they served alongside each other. I'm sure that they connected over those things, in the course of a day or every day.
Yeah. Well, and Jeff Creel was my kid's little league coach. He was my daughter's youth group leader at church. You know what I mean? It's just our men and women in uniform, there's substance and good and wonderful people behind those uniforms. Okay. And what the media and some culture have done to them is just disgusting. Right. And it doesn't mean there's not a bad apple in a barrel, but the sum and substance of the people who, the vast majority of people put on uniform every day is to go out and do good, to protect their communities,
Mm-hmm.
because they are, you know, the Girl Scout mom. They are the Boy Scout den leader. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they are the youth soccer coach, and because they care about kids and they care about their families and they care about their neighbors and they want us all to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
And in this instance, the least we can do for Chris and his family. And now I want to be clear, it passed the Senate. It does still have to pass the House. And so I've talked to Representative Calkins, and I believe it will be, you know, docketed when the House reconvenes. And then at that point in time, we'll be able to go out and put a sign up and, you know, have a memorial celebration commemorating his life. But yeah, it's just a tragedy on the front end, and you know, but it's the least I could do, in you know, in my line, and you know, as a state senator to honor his life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Well, hopefully all of that comes to pass down the road for sure. And again, our guest on the phone is State Senator Chapin Rose. And, you know, Chapin, that lends itself to, you know, more action in the spring. You know, last year we saw the massive reforms in policing and law enforcement, and even the criminal justice system, the Safety Act that was put forward by Illinois Democrats. And you know, is Chapin, do you think that just to start off with a kind of broader conversation, do you think that legislation is why we're seeing such an uptick in crime? I mean, a lot of those things that were in that bill aren't supposed to take effect until 23 and beyond. How about that from your perspective? What do you think about the impacts it's had?
First of all, a lot of those things did already take effect. But what is absolutely taking effect is Governor Pritzker's appointments to the Prison Review Board, who have let some really, really bad people out on our streets. And, you know, you're wondering why crime has skyrocketed. Well, on one hand, you are letting bad people out at the Prison Review Board. On the other hand, the Cook County courts have a few years ago went to this bail reform, which is what the geniuses in the Illinois Democratic Party have brought to the rest of the state starting next year. Well, the Cook County has already been doing that for a couple of years, which just lets everybody gets arrested right back out the door. And so you're seeing those people run up and down, you know, the 55s, the 57s. You know, you're seeing crime all over the state. In fact, there was a story the other day about people, you know, there was something like 100 accused murderers in Cook County who were out on home confinement with ankle monitors. Well, really? They're accused murderers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, and not only that, they can, from what I've seen, is they are also granted like 2 days of free roaming with that ankle monitor on.
So that was part of the safety, the so-called, well, the Democrats say Safety Act. I say the Defund the Police Act. One of the other components that has taken effect of that is they, you know, if you're out on an ankle monitor, you get 2 days to freely roam anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
Well, what's the point of it? And they're like, well, this is somebody who's been accused of a crime. No, ankle monitors are also for those who've been sentenced to a crime. Okay, for a crime. So where's the punishment in 2 days a week of roaming free? But whatever, I digress. Let's get back to this session. You know, the governor and his parole, you know, he's got one of his parole board appointees' entire qualifications to sit on the board was that she was Barack Obama's kid's godmother. Okay. That was her qualification to sit on the Prison Review Board because she was Barack Obama's kid's godmother. So Democrat patronage for a highly paid position. Okay. It is. The Prison Review Board pays a lot of money if you're a board member. And she's sitting on there letting all these people just out of prison to roam our streets. And, you know, so it's enough to complain, but the Republicans put in an entire Fund the Police Act. We had training funds, equip them, money for our local communities to retain and hire new police officers. We had money for local county jails on mental health issues. But then, as importantly, and I want to come back to this in a second, but as importantly, we had 10 in life for violent crimes. First offense, you're going to shoot into a crowd of people. You're going to carjack somebody, 10 years. Second offense, life. We're done. Okay. That is how you remove violence from our streets, by removing people who commit violence from the streets. So what do the Democrats do? Well, we're thankful they joined us on the first half of that, which is money for our local communities to train police, equip them, hire, retain, all that stuff. They joined us. Okay. They said, Republicans are right. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. But they didn't do the part about actually keeping bad guys behind bars. And at the end of the day, Seth, and to your listeners, what's the point of the exercise if all you're going to do is let them out as soon as you arrest them?
Mm-hmm. What do you make of some of the other things that were brought forward as it related to, community safety and those things in the spring session?
Well, again, I'm. If you're not going to keep somebody who commits evil behind bars so they can't commit more evil against their fellow citizens, I'm not sure what the whole point of the exercise was, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And again, when you look at one of the major problems in policing today, I met with the Decatur police chief yesterday. If you look over at Champaign, you do not have men and women stepping up into the role because they have been so maligned by a cacophony of a few, and it is only a few loud voices magnified by the popular media. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel like they're not, if they're doing their job, they're not going to have, that their elected officials aren't going to have their back. Well, let's look at the city of Champaign, for example. You have 2 city council members over there. This is since Chris Oberheim was murdered. You have 2 city council members who dressed down tax-paying retired citizens who dared to show up at a city council meeting and complain that someone had shot bullets through their home. Okay? These were law-abiding, senior citizen, tax-paying retirees who had bullets shot through their home. They go to the city council meeting, which is their right to do under this constitutional democracy we live in, and ask for redress of their concerns, which is to be safe in their own home. And instead of saying, let's work together to accomplish that task, you had 2 city council members tell them they were racist for even showing up and asking the question in the first place. Okay? Well, do you going to go be a cop for the city of Champaign when your elected leadership isn't going to support you and stand with you?
Yeah, I mean, why show up at that point? Why make your voice heard?
So now the city council has said, well, we're going to spend $20,000 per a person to try to attract people to come to Champaign.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if you're in fact, the Decatur police chief said this to me yesterday. 20 years ago, you get 500 applicants for 10 slots. Right now, he's got 15 applicants for 6 slots. When you pull the background check out, you're down to 8 for 6.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to the interviews, you're down to 1, and you still have 5 openings, right? And I'm maybe off a little bit on those numbers. But the point of it is, because the applications are down, you're not getting the selective capacity to, grab what 10 years ago literally would have been one of the highest achieving, most logical, best cadet people you could get to bring into the force on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's more like, man, I'm just glad to get somebody who'll show up.
Right.
Well, if you're getting somebody who'll show up, some of those folks are going to be great. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you're also going to have real problems with washing out, showing up on time, doing all the things that you need a police officer to do, right? You can't be late for work when you're a police officer.
Yeah, and it's that way, it's that way across the board in all sectors,
right?
So, Rose,
right,
I go ahead and finish that up, and we got to take a break.
Yeah, I was going to say, but all sectors don't have the national media telling them they're wrong
mm-hmm.
when they are right. And to paraphrase Amber Oberheim, it is time to stop vilifying the good guys and lionizing, the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have the cultural verse in this country where a bunch of these, sycophantic Facebook warriors who can't get out of their phone long enough to, realize their communities being destroyed by crime and that evil exists on this earth, until people pull their head out of the sand and realize that the way you deal with a bully is to walk up and punch him in the nose. We're going to have more bullies.
Mm-hmm. State Senator Chapin Rose on the phone with us. We'll have more to come with him on the WHOW Morning Show.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Thursday. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn, beans, and wheat all starting the day lower. May corn, 808, down 7 3/4. July corn, down 6 1/2, 803 1/2. December corn, 741 1/2, down 7. May beans starting the day 1733 3/4, down 13. July beans down 7 3/4, 1709 1/4. November beans 1524 1/2, down a nickel. May wheat underway 1079 3/4, down 8 1/4. July wheat down 9 1/2, 1088, and September wheat 1085 3/4. That's down 9 1/2. May bean meal 469.70. That's down 170. May bean oil starting the day 80.14, down 67 cents. That's a look at the opening numbers at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Thursday morning. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
New trucks and SUVs are coming here at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton. This is Scott Baum. Yes, we have new inventory arriving, and you can see what will arrive right on our website. Just click on the pre-order and reserve tab. From there, you will find vehicles in transit and vehicles in production. Or just call our sales staff and we'll help. Find Silverados, Equinoxes, Blazers, including Tahoes and Suburbans, as well as our complete Buick line of SUVs. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
MR Systems Wireless has an immediate opening. They're looking for a full-time internet installer to perform the initial setup of wireless internet and voice over IP services, as well as troubleshoot and repair wireless and phone services for customers. You'll be responsible for the basic installation and maintenance of wireless equipment. No experience necessary. Includes health benefits, mileage reimbursed. Starting pay is $15 an hour. Find out more and apply by going to mrsystemswireless.com, then clicking About, then Employment. Equal opportunity employer.
This is the morning show on 92.3 FM in DeWitt County, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guest on the phone, State Senator Chapin Rose. And Chapin, we were talking in that last segment about some folks in Champaign that went to the city council to ask about or to call for change after they had their home shot into one day, and they were called racist by a couple of city council members in Champaign. And in the break, you were telling me that you'd like to put a call out for more people to attend city council meetings and offer support for their police officers.
First of all, when people don't have anything of substance to offer, they call names, right? So, you're going to get called names, and that is what it is. But it's time for real people to show up for the city council, to show up for their school boards, and express support politely and respectfully for the right policies, right? For support for our police, for curriculum that's going to teach kids to, reading, writing, and arithmetic, not proselytize to children and try to indoctrinate them with stuff that has nothing to do with reading, writing, and arithmetic. But until real people like this elderly couple that showed up, the fact that they showed up and and it was an opportunity to expose just how crazy some of this has gotten. Well, that's going to come back to bite those people in the next election, right? It really will. But if good people don't show up at those meetings, act respectfully, but point out the right course of conduct, the ethical course of conduct, for your community, if you don't do that, you get what you pay for, right? And, Champaign was allowed to devolve into anarchy in some sense by virtue of the fact that people had stopped showing up at city council meetings. Now they are showing up. And I think that is going to correct a lot of Champaign's problems moving forward, starting in the next election. Mm-hmm. But remember this, folks, policy always trails elections, right? If you don't show up and take part in this democratic process to get the right people in office, you're not going to get the right policies. And, you know, and so this is an opportunity right now for the listeners to go to their school board, to go to their city council, to start attending these meetings, come to the meetings in Springfield. You know, the tenor of the entire debate, the Democrats weren't going to do anything on crime. They weren't even going to do the fund the police stuff that we put in. Okay. But then Amber Oberheim and 3 other spouses of widowed law enforcement individuals killed in the line of duty came over to Springfield and said, where are you guys? What are you doing? What are you doing to make the men and women in uniform safe today? Now, look, did we get the 10 in life on our side? No. And we're going to keep fighting for that. But we had greatly advanced the ball because we put the ideas in as Republicans, and then real people, the people been impacted by this, the Amber Oberheims, it was the most amazing press conference I've ever been to, because it wasn't politicians. It was 4 women who'd lost their loved ones in the line of duty. And you know what? If they hadn't come over and done that, we wouldn't even gotten the equipment money. We wouldn't have gotten the training money. All right. So folks listening, don't think your voice doesn't matter, and don't think that showing up doesn't matter. In fact, I can guarantee you this, Seth, we didn't even get to the budget and we're out of time, but I can guarantee you this, everybody, you will lose 100% of races you don't enter.
Very good, Chapin. We'll end it there. Always good to talk to you, sir. Thanks for taking time with us.
Budget next time, brother.
We'll do it. Yep. Thanks. State Senator Chapin Rose on the phone with us. Always good to have him. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way.